Welcome to Subconscious Conversations, where we take a look into the intricate world of the subconscious mind and how to heal the body, mind, heart, and spirit through its wisdom and guidance. Thanks for joining me today. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know who I am and what I do by now. If not, go on a journey of discovery through past episodes and figure it out. In today's episode, I'll be talking about the holidays. And I'll mostly be mentioning Christmas, but really I'm talking about the close succession of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all back to back. But we all know that Christmas gets all the attention anyway, and that's honestly where most of the holiday pressure comes from for most people. Plus, it's the next holiday coming up. So, as you may or may not have noticed, I skipped an episode recently, and I'm largely blaming that on some holiday overwhelm. Even though part of me feels like that's actually kind of a lame excuse on the surface of things, that's just where I'm at right now, which is part of what inspired me to do an episode on the holidays. It can be a very stressful time for many people, whether you enjoy the holiday season or not. But it's oftentimes even more difficult to endure the holiday season if you don't like it. Many people absolutely live for Christmas, while many other people absolutely despise it. I myself find that I oscillate between the two, both in terms of my whole life and in terms of just the season itself. But in my opinion, how someone reacts to the holidays is never really quite as black and white as I like Christmas or I don't like Christmas. For instance, someone who has loved Christmas their entire life might still be really struggling because maybe this is the first year without a certain loved one present. Or perhaps they don't have the money to exchange gifts, but they know all of their friends and family expect it. Or maybe they're suffering with an illness or an injury and they feel pressured to push beyond their energy capacity to keep up with planned schedules. And on the other hand, someone who has never enjoyed the Christmas season can still very much enjoy loving moments of connection with friends, family, pets, or even just enjoy the peace and quiet of their own private moments. Your general feeling about the holiday season itself doesn't always translate into your experience during that time of year. However, I've known many people who have negative feelings about the holidays because of negative experiences from past holidays. I've known people who have suffered horrible injuries during the holidays and had to endure the extreme difficulty of getting to the hospital safely and timely in feet of snow. I've known people who've lost loved ones tragically during the holidays. I've known people who have just never felt that closeness, love, and wonder that's always portrayed during Christmas. And whether they do it consciously or subconsciously, part of them remembers these past traumas from this time of year, and it resurfaces each year from then on and kind of puts a damper on their ability to be happy during that time of year that most people talk about as being the happiest time of year or the most cheerful and giving time of year. And if society's telling you that this is supposed to be the time of year that's full of wonder and joy and giving, and you feel none of those things, it gets very isolating and very stressful. And if you're someone who doesn't celebrate Christmas, say you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Festivus or something else entirely, or you don't celebrate anything at all, then this time of year can be even more isolating and difficult. Now, personally, I have wonderful memories from my childhood of large, fun, exciting parties with many extended family members, and I absolutely loved it. And then we moved away, and for a few years I struggled to find the same joy during the holidays because I really missed those family members and those social gatherings. But then I realized that I needed to let go of longing for what once was in order to fully enjoy what now is. So I started to enjoy the holidays a lot after that. I did have some negative experiences during the holidays over the years, as well as everyone does. Um, but mostly it was really enjoyable. But then there was a long period of my life where the holidays always included very stressful travel or very stressful hosting or mortifyingly embarrassing moments or moments of disrespect and betrayal. So now, even though I have very low key and laid back holidays, I still struggle to manage all of the physical and emotional responses that pop up as my subconscious is remembering and warning me to be aware of all the negative things I've experienced for years. And when I'm struggling with the reoccurrence of old triggering memories, it's really easy for me to become very overwhelmed by even the most seemingly inconsequential things. And that's because I'm struggling so hard to keep balance between my subconscious mind pushing my body into anxiety based on past events and my conscious mind knowing that I no longer have to worry about those things. But then my conscious mind does kind of take a little side trip and start taking account of all the new things that give me anxiety around the holidays. And while all of this is going on inside my mind and in my body, I'm trying just to breathe and be present. But my mind and emotions are so preoccupied that it's really hard to handle really anything else. So the littlest thing can easily overwhelm me. And this is largely when my auditory overstimulation happens and I'm very easily overwhelmed by sound. And although I have come a super long way to alleviating my anxiety and letting go of all those negative connections to past experiences, I am still human and I'm going through a lot of uncertainty in my life right now, which is extremely uncomfortable for me, and that has a way of dredging up a lot of anxiety. So this year, I've actually been so preoccupied with trying to deal with all of the changes happening in my life. I've had a really hard time even recognizing that it is the holidays and there might be obligations and expectations of me. And then when those feelings of expectation or obligation come up, I start getting very overwhelmed. Hence the skipped episode. So that's the oscillation I've experienced over time around the holidays. But even within the holiday season alone, I tend to kind of go back and forth. I have moments of feeling so much love and appreciation and joy. And then I have moments of feeling very unhappy and uncomfortable in a lot of different ways. And I think that's even worse for those of us who are quite empathic, because not only are we feeling our own emotions about the holidays, but we're also picking up on all of the other people who are feeling all sorts of different ways. And then we end up having this kind of dizzying experience of a whole range of emotions coming through us pretty intensely. And if you aren't knowledgeable on how to protect yourself from getting caught up in that, it's really difficult. And I think it's because the amplitude of emotion around the holidays is a little bit more extreme than most other times of the year. Some people are extremely happy and some people are extremely depressed. But however you're feeling, please never lose sight of taking care of yourself and making sure that you take whatever time you need to for yourself. If you're feeling like you're buried under obligations and timelines or pulled in a million different directions at once, take a few minutes or even just a few seconds to direct your attention inside yourself and just check in with yourself and breathe And make sure that you ask yourself and give yourself whatever you need to recharge your batteries and find more balance. If you're feeling particularly depressed or lonely, take a walk or a drive somewhere. Reach out to someone you care about. Do some volunteer work. Or just even go to a park and watch other people. That can sometimes cut the loneliness, even if you don't talk to anybody. Or spend some time watching the ducks at the park, or watching the deer roam through a field, or any form of spending time with animals or nature. You can find companionship outside of human contact, which a lot of people forget. Sometimes all I need to do to cut the loneliness is to just look at an animal or even an insect, or lean up against a tree, or hold my favorite stone in my hand. Sometimes just connecting with anything outside of myself is all I need. And sometimes I'm just too depressed to really allow myself to connect to anything or anyone because I'm just too caught up in my own pain. And that's a really tough place to be in, and I think the holidays tend to amplify that in some people. But just do your best to remember to keep trying to find the good, even if it's only for a split second. And then keep practicing that, and eventually you might just find that it becomes easier and easier to find the positivity. And I know I might be sounding a little dark here, but let's face it, some people really do feel dark around the holidays. But I have to say, I'm so eternally grateful for the energy healing modalities that I've found, because even though this season and this season of my life are a little difficult for me right now, I'm handling it much better than I would have even a year ago. And that's not to say I don't have my days of being depressed and panicked because I have no idea which direction my life is going to go. I very much have days where I'm drowning under that fear, anxiety, and nervousness of all the uncertainty. But I managed to also pull myself out of those moments much more graciously and quickly than I would have been able to previously. And that's something that I really need to keep in the front of my mind. I need to remember that it's okay to have bad moments and bad days. We all do, because we're all alive. But what's not okay is to get permanently stuck in that dark place. And I absolutely love that this work has helped me become a lot more emotionally mature. And I'm not saying that to brag about myself or put myself on a pedestal or criticize anyone else. It's just the wonderful benefit of this kind of work. And I'm so much more aware of my emotions and how not to get as trapped within them. And I've learned how to recognize what I'm feeling, where it's likely coming from, or at least how to communicate with my subconscious to find out. And I've learned not only how to release those negative energies, but also how to manage my emotions and reactions in the moment so that it's not an issue further down the road. Now, my emotional responses are still there, but they're much more recognized, managed, and balanced much more quickly than ever before. And I can't even tell you how appreciative I am to have these tools to help me manage my body, emotions, heart, and spirit. Even on those darkest days, I can still validate how far I've come. And in a weird way, sometimes it's those dark moments that fully bring to my attention just how much improvement I've gained in my life through this work, because it's like seeing a reminder list of all the things that I've overcome and also what I still need to work on. And I have those bad moments, and at first I feel frustrated that I'm feeling bad, but then I remember, oh wait, I used to feel 10 times worse. And now I know how to read my body's signals and what I need to do to help support myself to feel better. And that is such an immeasurable gift. So, if you find yourself having a difficult time through the holidays or any time, please just remember to check in with yourself. Give yourself what you need to manage whatever it is that you're going through at that moment. Even if it's only for a few seconds at a time, make sure to take whatever time you can to care for yourself. And also, remember, even if you don't speak to another human being, you're never truly alone, and you are truly loved. You may not see it, you may not feel it, but it's always around you all the time. Well, thank you for joining me today. I hope you take care of yourself this holiday season, and please be sure to join me for next episode. See you then. If you would like to set up a session with me to experience this work for yourself, please go to springseedwellness.com. If you would like to find a practitioner in your local area, please go to discoverhealing.com. And please always feel free to reach out with any questions or specific topics you would like me to address. See you next episode.